Welcome to this video. Today I have an interview guest I was looking forward to very much. He's one of the best known coffee producers in the world. He's producing coffee in third generation. His son is already also in the business as the fourth generation guy. With his coffee, he has won a lot of competitions like Best of Panama several times with 95 points and more. His coffees are so looked after that in 2022, some people even paid more than $6,000 for a pound of his coffee. It's none less than Wilford Lamastus. Hello, Wilford.
Hello, here. How are you? Thank you for your interview. I appreciate it. Thank you for considering me.
Yes, sure. And I was really looking forward to talking to you. You're such an active person when it comes to coffee and coffee production, and it's obvious that you're really into quality. Therefore, I look forward to deep dive with you. And before we go into the topic of coffee production, maybe you can tell a little bit about you and about your family business, what you're doing, who you are.
Okay, for sure. Thank you so much. Okay, my name is Wilford Lamastus. Like you said, I am the third generation coffee grower. My son is the fourth generation, so we have been growing coffee for 104 years already. This year will be our 104th year. We have two main farms. One is Elida, where I am right now. We have El Burro is another farm. One is on my father family side. This one Elida, and El Burro is on the mother's family side. So in both cases, my family, both families were born in coffee farms. I was also born in a small coffee farm. What I mean by small, maybe in some places it's not small. For example, Elida is 65 hectares, of which 40 are planted with coffee. El Burro is like 60 hectares, but only like 30 are planted with coffee. Not all of them producing. Now, I was born in a 2.5 hectare farm. It was a farm until about 30 years ago. Now we have our nurseries there because it's in lower elevation. And here in Panama, if you want the plants to grow faster, you don't plant your babies or reproduce them here where we are. This farm starts from 1,700 meters here at the mill, and it goes to 2001. It goes to 2,200. We have harvested at 2,050. We have coffee planted at 2,100, but it takes a long time. In where I was born is at 1,200 meters, and the nursery grows much faster. So having said that, yes, sorry to prolong so much, I am the third generation. The fourth generation is very active. My son is a family business on both sides, Lamastus family. That's the only thing that I have done in my life is coffee. So, and I continue doing it with pleasure, passion, thanks to people like you, to the consumers that are going to be watching or are watching this podcast. We depend very much on people with, demand for specialty coffee. And every time you tell me, hey, Wilford, can you do this or that? It's my pleasure to do it. So that's who I am. And thank you for the introduction.
Nice. It's very interesting. We already talked a little bit about the estates like Elida. Can you go a bit into the location of them? Where, at which altitude are they? What is the surrounding? What is the environment? And kind of to get an idea on what is the relation between the environment of the farms and then also the quality of the coffee.
Okay. It's a very interesting, location where Panama is. Panama is a very narrow country, and that's why we have a canal. So being so narrow, and then to the north of Panama, if you look at a map, the north of Panama is the Caribbean. If you go straight, you will end up in the east coast of the United States, Florida, all the way to, New York, Boston. And then to the south, we have South America, and we have the Pacific. Here where we are 90 kilometers white. So the north, the Caribbean is probably 50 kilometers, and the Pacific about 40 kilometers from here, from Elida. We are, all of us, when I say we, normally, most of the time when I say we, is the specialty growers of Panama, specialty coffee growers of Panama, mainly the specialty growers of the SCAP members, Specialty Coffee Association of Panama. So our farms are on the skirts of the Barú volcano. On this side of the volcano, okay, so the volcano starts from the mountain range in the north and goes south. On the east and on the west side of the volcano is where most of the coffee farms are. So the volcano goes all the way to 3,475 meters. But of course, coffee doesn't grow higher than, let's use an easy number, 2,000 meters. Of course, we have extended the elevation because we have land available to 2,050, 2,100. So some other coffee growers here too. But this farm is a total of, Elida, 65 hectares, start at 1,700 meters and goes all the way to 2,200 meters. But coffee grows very easily the first, say, from 1,700 to 1,800. From 1,800 and above, the yields are lower, a bit more. But we also have coffee about 1,800, quite a bit, up to 1,900 and some. And then we also have coffee up to 2,050 meters that we have harvested and sold. In El Burro, the other state, is located also in the skirt of the Barú volcano, but not in the same location. So you need to see a map, like a Google map or whatever. You can see that the Barú volcano starts in the mountain range. The mountain range divides the country in half, goes up, and then continues all the way to the south. So at the same elevation, El Burro is located 12 kilometers to the south of Elida and has a total different microclimate, total different rain profiles, total different vegetation. I mean, not total, but the vegetation is different. So the coffee profile in Elida and El Burro, those are totally different. So, which I have. If I have a Gesha at 1,700 meters here, do X process, dry it the same way with the El Burro, the crop profile will be different. So that's why one of the reasons that we get so many clients coming to Panama and go from one farm to the other one, because they know that they're going to find a different product. Okay, it's like jumping from Burgundy to Bordeaux in 12 kilometers, 10 kilometers, you know? So let me give you the macro. Let's start with our neighbors. Colombia, this year they exported like a bit more than 12 million bags, 60 kilo bags. Costa Rica probably 1.8. They have been going down, but 1.8 million. Now go a bit north to Nicaragua. Nicaragua was already 2.7 million. Honduras is like 8 million bags. Okay, I said 12 Colombia, around 2 Costa Rica, our neighbors. Panama last year exported 30,000. 30,000. So we're very small, but people come here because we have different, crop profiles in a short distance because of the microclimates and all that stuff. So our area, we call it unique. The rain patterns are unique because during the dry season, those farms located close to the mountain range that divide the country in half. Okay, let me go back. Panama starts in the west. Costa Rica is to the west. and that goes horizontally, and Colombia is to the east. Okay, it's not south, like South America is not. So, as a matter of fact, if you land in Panama City, where the Panama Canal is, and then you drive or fly to Boquete, Boquete is a bit south of Panama City, and it's close to Costa Rica. In fact, some of the farms in Panama are just with the border with Costa Rica. So you are here in a farm here, in one of the farms in Panama next to Costa Rica. You walk across the street and you're from Panama to Costa Rica, and you come back and you drive your car sometimes in the Costa Rican road because those roads are not paved. You drive into the Costa Rican garden, come back here. So Costa Rica is not to the north, it's to the west. So some of the farms are next to Costa Rica, to the west, close to here, not that far. It's on the other side of the volcano, a bit further away. So that's how Panama is located, and it's interesting for those coffee people that are very interested on how to look at a map, and then go to Zoom, see the elevations, see the areas. As a matter of fact, they can check our website, and we have all that there to see how unique, because we don't have these big plateaus like Colombia has, Peru, Colombia, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras. Panama has 77,000 square kilometers. Colombia has 1 million. You know how many square kilometers Peru has? 1.2 million. Panama 77,000. And we only grow coffee here around the mountains because we cannot. We have Robusta in the lowland. Okay, but that's for a different use. Okay, so that's our microclimate. So volcanic source, unique microclimates, high elevation, and then also farmers like me that have been doing this for many years, that it's much easier to adapt to changes.
When I'm listening to you, I'm a bit questioning myself, is it because the Panama coffees, they are so popular within the coffee connoisseur scene or like the competition scene. And is it more that Panama has really a particular climate or also soil because of the volcano? Or is it then is it a culture that, for example, coffee producers have been forced, because of what you told us, they cannot produce big amounts, so they have been forced to produce smaller amounts, but then of very high quality? What is it a bit like? What's your idea on that?
Okay. Everything that you said is part of it. Yeah. Okay. For example, we have been growing coffee here in this same land, in this same farm. You are very well invited. Everybody is invited. I love receiving people here for more than 100 years. So, because it's a unique terroir, very, very, very special for coffee. Okay, so special. So I'm gonna give you some details. For example, okay, so I'm gonna give you an interesting detail or information. Panama is carbon negative. Not more than 5-7 countries in the world are carbon negative. Here we're like 100 meters higher than here, at 1,800 meters, we have a national park. It's called Baru Volcano National Park. It's a 14,000 hectares park that goes all around the Baru volcano. Okay, on the east side, the north, the west side, and the south, all the way to the top, is a national park, except for some towns that they just take them out of the national park. The national park is very biodiverse. Very biodiverse. For example, in 14,000 hectares, we have 225 species of birds, butterflies, fungi, and all kind of, we have vertebrates, insects, diseases for coffee. So we are biodiverse. So having said that, we have a lot of, trees that surround our coffee plantation. Not only the Baru Volcano National Park, we have another even more interesting, more biodiverse park. It's called International Friendship Park that is shared with Costa Rica. It's the mountain range that divides the country to the north of the Caribbean, to the south of the Pacific. That mountain range that divides the country in half. Listen to how important this park is. This is a World Heritage. United Nations decided that this was a world property, like the pyramids, Machu Picchu, the old quarters of Panama City, the Beijing Wall, all the castles, the beautiful churches and castles in Europe. Those are man-made. There are 2,800 man-made ones. All those that I mentioned are man-made. Naturals, Panama has 3. An island in the Caribbean called Coiba. The border with Colombia, there is a big forest, Darien. There is no road to cross from here to Colombia because of that forest. And the International Friendship Park is also a World Heritage. We have 3 in Panama out of 223 in the world. In 77,000 square kilometers, we have 3. Okay? So listen, why did I say all this? Because some of them are around here, around me. I can see them from here. I can see the International Friendship Park, the World Heritage one. So you guys understand coffee very well. You know the coffee comes from Ethiopia, not from Panama, not from Colombia, not from Brazil, not from many other places. It comes from Panama. I come from Ethiopia. In Ethiopia grows well in the mountains, full of biodiversity, bacteria, yeast, microorganisms beneficial to coffee. So the coffee plant has adapted very well in our terroirs. It has adapted. We consider that many of our colleagues have been to Ethiopia many times, and I have not, but I understand and I have read. So it has adapted very well here because it feels like home, you know. So then we have that biodiversity that helps the coffee plantation around here. Us, the volcanic soil. Many people have volcanic soil. Many countries have volcanic soil, even more volcanic than us. We have the elevation. Elevation is very, very important for coffee quality. And then, like you said, farmers like me that have been doing this for many years, and we continue doing it. And we learn from people like you. We learn from people, our clients that come in and tell us, you know what, your whatever, another 18 days is too much for me. Please make it a little bit or do this. So whatever information we get from our customer that many come here. Before COVID, I used to receive, say, for example, 100 people during the harvesting season, let's say January to May. This year, we received more than 150 people because COVID, everyone wanted to travel with different ideas from different parts of the world, from Zurich, from other parts of Switzerland, from other places in Europe, from Asia, nonstop from Asia, China, Taiwan, Korea, Japan, champions, the champion of Taiwan, the champion of Korea, the champion of whatever, the champion of Canada, and then looking for lots, telling, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? And of course, again, being a small farm or relatively small, my farm is not small. Let's not get anymore. It's not small anymore because it's a good size. But if you go to another country, Brazil, Costa Rica, Guatemala, whatever, the farms there are huge. And making a change is not as easy as me making a change here. Okay, so let's do this. Today's harvest, 3 days in a reactor, stainless steel reactor, and then take it out and put it 3 days in a plastic tank. Let's do it with oxygen or without oxygen. So we can make changes easier than many people. So that's another advantage that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of processing. I saw, I mean, you're doing wash coffee, you're doing honey, naturals, and then, of course, all the experimental like carbonic, anaerobic fermentation. And I just sometimes think, would I be a coffee producer that would probably add to quite some challenges, because it's a lot of, beside of the production of the coffee, you also have to understand a lot about the chemistry of all those processes. Why are you doing all those different processes? Is it then really like the exchange with the coffee community and providing the different tasting profiles? Yeah.
You know why we do it? At the end, of course, it's a shame. It's for people like you. You go to a cafe and then you say, today I'm going to drink a black honey. I want to drink a black honey, and tomorrow I'm gonna go with my friend that he only likes wash coffee. But I have to, a competitor that is asking me for advice. I'm gonna recommend that he use an anaerobic. Anaerobic is slow dry in bed process. Or I know that Sam Cora told me about the carbonic maceration that his partner Sasa used for his World Barista competition, and he won. We do carbonic maceration because we learn from them. We do honey because we learn from the Costa Rican. We use plastic tank because somebody told us, "Hey, try with the plastic tank." We learn from. So this community, like you said, is a community that, especially nowadays when you can see in the networks. Like the other day, my friend Mr. from Nicaragua said, "Hey, I saw that you're drying extensive areas of coffee, but not in concrete patios or floors, the patios." So when I talked to Mr. I said, "So how do you do that?" He said, "Well, you put so many centimeters of parchment, you put 90% holes or thickness saran, and then you put your coffee there, you do this." So you learn, you learn from other people, and then they learn from you. And when I go to the different conventions, I also talk to growers and all that stuff. And so we share information, so we help. In Panama, that's every day. We share information every day with our partners. Right here is my neighbor, Elida. On the other side is Suarez, Mamacata. La Esmeralda El Burro is 2 kilometers from here, 1.5 kilometers from here. As a matter of fact, La Esmeralda El Burro, where they don't have coffee, part of the mountains goes above Elida, like this, like in a something like this. They go all the way to 3,000 plus meters. So we're close to each other. We share information. We talk to each other. I was with Daniel Peterson Saturday in a party. So somebody that is not in the coffee industry come over and said, "So you guys are talking about coffee, huh?" so it's non-stop.
And why is Geisha coffee so popular in Panama? Because I say, is it the climate or is it the culture that you also came up with the coffees?
I want to be totally fair, and I don't want to just say something that is not correct. If you go to Bolivia, to Peru, if you go to farms in Guatemala, and you get a geisha there from high elevation, like in Bolivia and Peru, just like that, or even some places of Guatemala, and you put it next to a Panamanian geisha, wow, which one is the Panamanian geisha? The quality is pretty much. Now, as far as more available, like me, my neighbor, the other one doing the same and trying to get the best out of the coffee, I think that to be reasonable also, I think that we're doing a better job because we are very, very, very united here. And some of the growers, my friends, they say, "Wow, you guys are so united." So I had some guys from I don't wanna say the name of the country, but because it's not fair, but Uh, but I'm not saying anything wrong. So one of the, the person that was hosting that country's booth in Korea, I don't remember which country, and the team that was hired by the country was making coffee for, the people who came, drinking coffee and all that. And then she says, wow, Panamanians in their booth, they are themselves making the coffee, the owners of the farms. They don't hire anybody. They don't bring anybody to make the coffee for them. They do the coffee themselves, and they serve it themselves, and they talk about the coffee themselves, and they talk about the farm themselves and the process themselves, and they know what's going on because we are doing it here every day, here in the morning. Most people are doing it like that. So the quality of the coffee per se can be achieved in, like I said, Peru, Colombia, Central America, high elevation, of course, keep that in mind, the same as Panama. And then we have our union heater. So, what do you dry the coffee? In a dark room? How does the dark room work? Well, put the humidifier, shut down the room, and put it right away. It was, and then the natural, put it in the bed 4 or 5 days and put it in the dark room. So I started doing it, for example, and then I said, hey, Osho, my dark room is not doing anything. Show me a video of your biodigester. I said, my job of your dehumidifier. So I showed him a photo. He says, Wilford, your humidifier works only above 20 Celsius, and you are below 20 Celsius. Buy this one. So I bought the other one, and it's working. It's like that with everything, okay? So, and then we have a competition indoor. This competition brings so many growers. This year, for the BOP competition, we had 184 lots, and then 52 farmers submitted lots. The best 50 went to the auction, 36 Geshas and 14 varietals that we call, and 38 growers were represented, okay? And then each one did the best it can. Let's not kid ourselves. I put the best lot that I can in the competition because I want to win. Federer wants to win, right? And Nadal wants to win, right? Right? They practice and practice to win, right? So do we. So we all do the same thing: the drying, the hand selection, the peeling, the whatever. We try to do our best. We focus to do the best because we want to win or being top. Winning the best of Panama is very, very difficult, But still, if you are up there, even if you don't win, you try to do the best. So doing that, the best of Panama has helped so much since 2004, when the geisha was discovered just in one of the competition. It was an art totally different with such an outstanding crop profile. In a blind cupping, the national judges were so surprised. They said, what is this Ethiopian that the Panamanians are putting here? And at the end, it was the geisha. You know what happened the next day? The next day, I went looking for geisha seeds in my farm, everywhere else. And then until I found geisha seeds and I started doing my nursery, and everybody started doing that. Everybody here started doing that, right away. So we started doing that. Everybody focused on doing the geisha because the geisha was so outstanding. And then, part of it's like the perfect storm. Everything came together. It has been like that. And growing. Quality, the demand for our geishas here in Panama is very high. The auction is crazy. You know what happened this year in the auction? It crashed. Not the first time it crashes, by the way. It crashed because too many users, too many bidders, too many auto bids, too many bids at the same time that the stock software was not, the servers couldn't handle it. And then they fixed the servers and we restarted 6 hours later. But the first year, when it went in 2004, the auction in 2004, so the thing was like this. The first 5 POP didn't have auction. They didn't have a Gesha. So the price was 1 cent higher, 2 cents higher. So $1.05, $1.06. The other lot, $1.07, $1.08. At the end, 6 hours later, the winner, $2.37. $2.37 after 7 hours. It went like that for 4 years. Comes Gesha, auction opens, and then all of a sudden, a few minutes later, it froze, it closed. So we call the administrator. What happened? He said, we have a hacker, and I had to detect the hacker. How do you know you have a hacker? He says, because it went up to $10 a pound right away, $10 a pound right away. What? From 1 cent to the normal, $10 a pound. And then later it opened back and he said, there was no hacker, somebody was this coffee. And then when it changed from 90 cents a pound to $1 a pound, it crashed again, totally crashed. It was canceled. And then we asked the guy, Malcolm, what happened? What happened to the auction? He says, well, you know what happened? Is that who in their sane mind thought that a coffee was going to sell for $100 a pound? It was not designed for this. So it has happened many times in a BOP auction. This year it happened again. Or we had hard time in this year. We the SCAP members, we almost went crazy trying to figure out what to do, when to restart the auction, what happened in Asia, what time is in Asia, whatever. So we decided to start 6 hours afterwards, and then we did it. It continued well. So all this makes all the growers say, wow, gosh, I want to be part of the auction. So I'm going to do a better job. Last year, I remember that when I harvested the coffee, I'm saying, give you an example. They were 100% burgundy red for washed coffee, and they were not pulped the same day. They were pulped the next day. I'm not pulped the same day, like Wilford did, for example. They got second place. Or like the winner did, pulped the same day, fermented in the, aerobically fermented. So all the, coffee fermented gets all that. So people start, adding more efforts to do a better quality.
How did you like the video so far? I find these interviews just so inspiring. There is so much you can learn about coffee roasting. Did you know that one of the main reasons we can get so great people to these interviews is that we have a couple of thousand subscribers in this channel, because like that they know if they take their time, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to watch the video then. At the same time, if I'm looking at YouTube, I see that most of the people that are watching these videos don't subscribe to our channel. Therefore, I'm just asking you for a little favor. Take these 2 seconds of time and subscribe to our channel. You are going to do me, but also the whole coffee roasting community a big favor, because the more subscribers we have, the more and bigger guests we can get for these interviews. By the way, if you like this video, you can also give it a like, because the more it is liked, the more it's going to be shown on YouTube. So much for that. I thank you very much, but now let's continue with the video. Wow. So it's this competition, and yeah, it's actually beautiful to see, because on one hand you have these competitions with the other growers in Panama, and then also you're really a team, because always, to me it looks like this always when you're at the events with the Panama Gesha producers, you're like a team together, you're going to the stands. I think it looks like you have a really nice culture of, of this challenge, but also then friendships between the coffee producers in Panama.
From the very beginning, you know how the farmers used to work here? The farm next door, the other one here. Back then, there was a road to come to the farm. There was a train, a red road from David, the main city near the port, up to the town of Boquete, which is 60 kilometers from the coast. And then that's downtown. Downtown is from here is 10 kilometers. So from there they had to walk. It started in 1905, the train. So they had to walk up to the farm or take horseback riding. There were no employees, so the farmers used to walk what they call juntas. What did juntas mean? So you have the two employees, the wife, the son, and the guy working in this farm for 3 days with the people from here, from the other farm. So all 10 people will move after they finish the activity here to the next farm, to the next farm, to the next farm, and finish the work. They used to do juntas among neighbors and work together. So it was always, oh, hey, you clean downtown? How many horses are you taking? I'm taking 3 horses. Can you put a bag of coffee in one of your horses? Yes, I'll take it down. So it started like that. And so my grandfather's culture, my father's culture, and our culture is totally different, But our culture started to work together. So it has been like that in Panama. Again, we're very small. Like in Guatemala, to go from one part to the other one, or even more, Peru, or much clear to the other one, is 5 hours drive, whatever. Even in Ethiopia is, but to go from here to, let's say, to the side of the mountains. Okay, to go from here to the farthest farm, Arman, my friend Arman, which is in border with Costa Rica, it takes 2.25 hours to get from one farm to the farthest farm. From here is 2.25 farm, and in 2.25 hour farm, I would go to 50 farms. Okay, so we are very close to each other. Spaces communicated.
One thing I would like to ask you, because you're really deep into all the details of coffee production, and we've been talking about the soil, the environment, the different varietals, and then also the processing. So what are the factors that influence the taste and the quality of a coffee most when it comes to coffee production?
Okay, what influences the most, according to what I have, of course, confirmed here, the elevation. So, I'll give you an example. Remember I told you that I was born in a small coffee farm. That coffee farm is at 1,200 meters. That farm used to have Typica. Typica was the heirloom variety of everybody here in Panama for 80 years. Only Typica was since 1875 all the way to, say, 1960-something, when all the varieties started coming. So we had Typica there, and then we switched to Catuai. Good coffee, okay, 1,200 meters. But it was always better here at Elida at 1,900 meters, or whatever, 1,700 meters, was better. Comes Gesha. Remember I told you that the day after it won in the Best of Panama auction in 2004, me and everybody started looking for Geshas trees in their farm. And then if they didn't have any Gesha trees in their farm, they started looking for seeds. So everybody, 1,000 meters, 1,100 meters, 100 meters, all the way to 1,800 meters, whatever, started planting Gesha in their farms. After a while, the ones below, say, 1,400 meters, found out that the Gesha, of course, it was a very good coffee, but it didn't represent the Gesha variety. So any farmer with Gesha below, say, 1,300 meters, just doesn't have Gesha, or consider it as a Gesha, if it doesn't have the Gesha coffee. As you go higher and higher, the Gesha profile becomes more, you can see it more like the jasmine, the lemongrass, the black tea, the all the attributes of the Gesha, the mangoes, the papayas, develop more and more at higher elevation. Why, Ingo? Easy. When a tree flowers here at Elida, let's say at 1,900 meters, when the flower comes out, that flower will be a fruit, a coffee fruit. Remember, coffee is a fruit. We drink the seeds. It will be a fruit 9 months later. 9 months later, that flower, you're going to pick it. If you are at 1,200 meters, where I have the nursery now, where I was born, you will harvest it at 7.5 months later. So what happens is from flowering to picking, the seed had the best chance to develop slowly, everything. Like when you have a baby, and from the beginning you feed him well, you teach him well, you do all the necessary exercise that the kid needs, little by little, the education, the air, the exercise, the food, whatever, all the way until you harvest it. The coffee slowly developing because the cold temperature, the cool temperature, cold for me is warm for you. So cold temperature for coffee is when temperature drops below 12. Like this morning was 13 here at 1,700 meters. Morning 13. So below, say 12 is it's cold for coffee. Cold means that it takes longer to produce. You plant a tree at 1,900 meters, when every morning is 12, and sometimes go to 10 and to 9. I have data recorded. That coffee takes longer to produce. That tree takes 1-2 years longer to produce. The seed, which is the most important thing, takes longer to harvest. So it develops very slowly. All its properties will develop much more, precise. And then at the end, you have a better quality of coffee. That is only achieved here at higher elevations because the temperatures depend directly proportional to the elevation, temperature of the ambient here. So that is very important. Of course, volcanic soils, you have easier, your nutrition, your reabsorb is much easier with volcanic soils. Rain patterns are good for coffee to here. Vegetation that surrounds the coffee plantation because of the beneficial microorganisms, the yeast, the bacteria that surround the coffee trees. This is also people will say, well, the yeast, the mountains are full of yeast, different type of yeast. And they come on top of the trees, and then those yeast, the fruits use those yeasts for the benefit. Then the quality is benefited. I mean, I'm not a scientist. In Panama, we do very little scientific, research. It's like wine that they do a lot of research. Even in other countries that they have real, very, sophisticated coffee research, and Panama doesn't have that. But the yeast are something that help a lot the coffee, the bacteria, the microorganisms. So all this has been used properly by the farmers because we can damage that fruit when we process it. We can, dry it in 2 months and it will taste baggy. In a few weeks, we can store it at high temperatures and it will be baggy and off flavors very easily. When you store it poorly, you can do that. Put it right now that is summer in your area. Take a bag of green coffee and put it in the dash of your car or on the window, and take same coffee and keep it at 15 Celsius and cup it 2 weeks later. You will see. So you can damage your coffee during the process, during the storage, during the drying. So if you keep those the way they should, you're going up. And that's what happens. The quality of coffee in general, all over the world, the same thing.
Yeah. And it's a lot also of quality control and then being up to with the
Quality control. We cup here almost every day. Do they want to cup it on Saturday, cup Friday, Thursday?
When it comes to cupping, I see behind you the Nucleus LINK roaster. So you have been one of the first that started working with the cafe logic that Sam was tuning, and then with the Nucleus LINK. Why did you start using with this? Why did you start using this machine?
Okay, why and when? So I said it before we started this interview. I was talking to you that my son has been the Brewers Cup champion of Panama 3 times. So when we go abroad, the first year was in Boston, then it was in Milan, then it was in Australia. Do we take roasted coffee from here from our machines? Do we roast it when we get there and look for somebody who roasted for us? No, Sam Cora has been very close with us for many, many years, especially with my son. Sam Cora said that was COVID, COVID times. Hey, he tells my son, hey, Wilford, I'm going to send you a real neat machine to roast for competition. It's called the Cafe Logics, the first version before the link. I have it downstairs, by the way. When I shut down, they say, give me a minute. I was telling the guys because they are addicted to that machine, shut down the machine because it's too much noise. When you finish roasting, stop, still working. That was almost 3 years ago. So Sam sends the roaster to us, and then let's see, because we're used to drum roasters, gas drum roasters. We have a couple of them. We have a robot that we use a lot, drum roaster. We have a Pinalense drum roaster. We used to use a Tapersborn drum roaster. So with a drum roaster, you have to be, you have to be there. You have to be there. Period. And I have a good roaster that has roasted, who knows how many samples with a drum roaster. But so Sam says, I'm gonna send you that. Try it. So I started trying it. Wilford started trying it. Oh, it's coming out good. Wow, yeah, it's nice. The coffee logic is nice. And then I say, why don't we use cup coffee for that? So we started, cupping with that. Then we saw Sam in Milan. And then we started talking to him and learning from him. You know that Sam is like an educator and he's so addicted to roasting. This is something, he's crazy. Then he had the chance to come to Panama. We have a cafe in Panama. So he brought his own Cafe Logic back then to the shop in Panama City. And I had sent Wilford Jr., he was in Panama City, a lot of green samples. So Sam started roasting these different profiles. With the Cafe Logic, doing the profiles and roasting that. Then he came to Boquete. He brought his Cafe Logic and he roasted 36 samples. And we copied those samples the next day. Caught some the same day. I couldn't believe it. I said, it's the same day. You have to dig gas. He said, and then Sam explained, the theoretical and the why you didn't have to wait, like in a gas roaster. So we started copying right away, and that's right, man. So that's right. Then the next day we copied a lot of samples, and then we were so happy with the Cafe Logic. And then he came out with the link. In the show in Australia, we were in the show in Australia. It was going to be. It was one year ago, I think. Yeah, it was 1 year ago. I think it was like in August, September. And then I said, Sam, when are you launching this one, the link? Was using it there. I did a presentation with him there. He said it's going to be in November. 1st of November, I said, hey, when are you launching? No, it's a little delay. Until he told me, okay, they are out. I said, he came with one of those here in June, July of last year, like a year ago or so, and it started roasting for 4 hours and then explaining my team about the machine, everything. He started explaining, we started copying and that and this and that. And the drone roaster, he said, wow, it's so good. That's right, man. And then it's a good roaster. And he started trying it and he started using it. And he said how easy it was. Just press a button or you put the elevation process, and then you put also the variety. And then you put it in your phone and it gives you, okay, use whatever profile. And then we press the profile, and then you go away. You don't have to be. And now those guys. So I bought two, one for them because they had the drum roaster, which we roast a lot, and another one of these for them. And then they come here to my desk all the time. They say, "Hey, we're gonna take your link because we need it." There is, bring it back, bring it back. But sometimes you think, look, I, I gotta. I said, oh, I'm gonna take this one home. So I roasted the walls from back, and then so the link. To tell you the truth, is a very good roaster. Probably there are some other roasters that are more user friendly that you just, you press another button and it will discharge and all that. But those other roasters are much more expensive. One of Sam's idea, he went to many farms here in Central America and in South America. One of Sam's idea is that every farmer will be able to roast their own sample. You know how much my product sample roaster, drum sample roaster cost me? The shipping cost, because two big boxes. One was the shaft collector. The one the sample roasters, set it up here, the gas system, the security things, and all that. Ingo, not less than $14,000. You know how much I paid for this? Because I was one of the first deals because everybody got it. I paid $1,400 for this versus 12,000. Let's see, two barrels. 14 plus 14 to $2,800. Let's say 3,000 versus working with the gas and everything else up there in my cupping room, 16,000. So 8,000 per barrel versus, say, right now they are like 1,800 in the US versus 1,800. Any farmer can buy one of these. Any farmer. Here in Panama, at least. We have. You know how many in Panama we have? If I tell you 30, I think that I'm short. Maybe more, maybe 5. We're not a big country, remember? Was more. When we went to Portland, everybody was. And I said, I have mine at the mill right now, so I don't have to buy any here. So it's a big advantage for a farmer, for anybody, because they had so many. Sam has so many profiles. So like your neighbor or a home roaster. I have on Saturday I had a couple that were home roasters from Bermuda, and I said, "Oh, so you're a home roaster?" And they told me what machine they were using. I said, "You want to have a very inexpensive machine, very good that you can roast any coffee, and you can probably find the profile for those Kenyans or Ethiopians or Colombian honey, natural, anaerobically processed, anaerobically processed honeys, anaerobically processed wash, aerobically processed wash, whatever. This one you can do it because it's right Wilford. So the home roaster. Oh, Saturday, can you give me share profiles because I also have the cow. Can you share the profile for the car? I said, but I'm not. Yes, but you are at sea level at 1,700 meters now. Which this one too with any air roaster, you have to adjust the fan. Adjusting the fan here is so easy. You just follow a few steps. What elevation are you? 100, 200, 300, 1,700. Set. The fan speed set, elevation set, everything set, run. You're going to pay $2,000 in the US because they get it from the US. They have next door. Not even 2,000, 1,800, whatever. And then, so they took the information from the lake, and many people have done the same thing. Now that I'm going to Japan for the convention, I want to ask Sam, tell me who has links in Japan, please, because I don't want to take roasted sample for here, having a link there. So yeah, it's a big advantage. Yeah, no, this guy is coming. Hey, come here. This is a sample roaster that has used drum sample forever. Then he said, Puse la link también. Mejor. You know what he said? I said, he just walked by Chris. I didn't call him. And you know what he said? I said, in Spanish, hey, I'm telling him that you also the link, you use the link now too. He says, mejor, better than roasted. Don't tell that to the product people.
Yeah, it's the same for like coffee traders, roasters. I mean, if you do sample roasting, then you can just let the machine do the job for you, and don't have to be spending that much time with finding the right beans. Yeah. Perfect. By the way, there is a video that I also did with Sam. You talked a lot about Sam, and I'm going to link it here, where you can hear the story also from the side of Sam, how he developed everything.
The interview that you did with Sam.
Yeah,
I saw it. I saw it full.
Yeah.
Very nice. I like Sam so much.
There's a lot to learn always also from him. Always to talk with him. He's also like you're so coffee passionate people. And there is always so much to learn from you.
Thank you.
And Wilford, now, so thanks a lot for all the information you were sharing. If people want to know more about you, if they want to follow you, if they want to know more about Lamastus Coffee Estates, where can they find more information about you?
Well, our official Instagrams is like this. Lamastus Family Estates. Let's see. Okay. Lamastus Family Estates is in Instagram. You can find all the information there. My son is the one who runs the social media, but you text him, hey, Wilford, I want to go to Panama. When can I go? Can I get samples? So there is a barista competing in the national whatever. Can I, if you're a grower, can you tell me a little bit more about me? I can just, my son will send me the message.
Yeah, perfect. Fantastic. So I'm going to put the links to your website and also Instagram in the show notes. And it's also fantastic that you offer people that they can come to your farm and try the coffee.
I love doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting. You learn,
Yeah.
You learn from people. You share information. The easiest way to make somebody happy is to share your knowledge with somebody that asks you something that they don't know. They are happy. I'm happy when I ask somebody a question and they give me the answer. Wow, that's good, man. So that's the easiest way. It doesn't cost anything. Make somebody happy, and then you are helping society, especially coffee society.
Hey, thanks a lot, Wilford, for sharing all those information. And anyway, you and your whole family and your whole team, all the best wishes to Panama and good luck. And hope to see you soon again somewhere at any coffee festival or in Panama. Thanks a lot, Wilford, for everything.
Thank you so much for having me here. I appreciate it very much. I know that you are very well known. A lot of people watch this podcast, and they are welcome to come here. Of course, you are welcome to come here. And then, of course, I'll see you in the next event. And please come to Bogota before the next event.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Wilford. I hope this video was fun to watch and it was helpful for you. If you want to know more about coffee roasting, then come to our website, roastrebels.com. We have a lot of information on roasting, but we have also equipment like coffee roasting machines, color meters, books, and many more. In addition to that, a really nice selection of green coffee beans from all over the world. You find a link to our website right here. You could also look through our YouTube channels. We have a lot of videos on coffee roasting, on equipment, but also very inspirational interviews with coffee roasters, coffee traders, and many more. If you have any questions left, then always come back to me. I'm Ingo from Roast Rebels, and I look forward to talking to you.